Yo dog, Kenny Boucher here, Next Level Painting. Hitting you up on Wednesday with another painting tutorial. The MechanicusTriaros. Basically, it's the thing that looks like a huge train. It has a lot of interesting details. It's got a lot of fresh techniques. We're going to utilize tons of things I've already shown you in new ways. And additionally, I'm going to hit you guys with some white. I'm going to answer finally some of those questions about how I use some of my whites and how I interact with the airbrush. And hopefully I do a good job in this video and satisfy your guys' curiosity. Also, just came back from Adeptus, placed 5th place on day 1 in the singles championship tournament. And a lot of that had to do with my painting scores. So bringing hobby back together has never been more truth right there. Also did really well and qualified for the championship bracket. Only got about middle of the pack there, but I was really happy, had a lot of fun, met a lot of people. We were there for 5 days. Hopefully I get to see you guys at the next one. Quick shout out. Patreon, new patrons. I've got Mike Haspel, 40K Sue, and Daniel. Thank you guys for your donations and your support. Without you guys, I can't do any of this. Anyway, let's take a quick look at this video. I'll hit you guys up on the flip side. Here it is, guys. The first Triaros. Coming in with the airbrush after a light gray primer. Hitting it up with the old Vallejo airline. Looks like black steel. I'm just going to come in, lay this thing down, get in all the little recesses, all the little cracks. This is going to help big time in the later stages. Don't even worry about the overspray. That is dead to us. Just push forward, get it laid down. I just really wanted to control the color on this one, so that's why I didn't use like a over-the-counter metallic in a aerosol spray can. I really just wanted this color specifically. It's my favorite dark metallic color. You really can't go wrong with any of the Vallejo airline. They're just so good. You see I'm just paying attention, getting it in the little crevices of the engine compartment, crushing those tracks out, getting it all over the place. Just, and here they are. Like, obviously got all 3 of them done. I'm trying not to bore you by doing the same thing for the next 20 minutes. So here's an interesting base color. I've only done this a couple of times. Vallejo Air Wood. This is actually their brown wood color. Now this just kind of came to me. I saw how it interacted in a couple of bases I've done in the past. So I really wanted to try it out here because I do plan on going up to a white. But it's going to be a grimier white. And like I said, just lay this on and don't even worry about getting it back on the stuff you just painted up. It's not what you're focusing on. You're not trying to tape anything off. Just throw it on there, cover the areas that you need to cover, because you will go in there with a paintbrush and wipe out all this overspray. It's super simple if you do it in this order. I find that you waste a lot of time trying to tape things off, using putty and all those other techniques that everyone else uses. If you just think about the order you want to do things in, you can save a lot of time with this laydown process. Now, obviously, not talking about cutting corners, we're talking about just how to line up your order of operations for the paint job. So now that I've laid down this wood, you can see it's drying a little darker. You can see where it's like definitely, if that was what was left in all the recesses in the corners, you would see it would be a very grimy, dingy base. I do like this color. I have used it to represent sand before and wood, and now I'm using it for a tank. So it's a very diverse color in my opinion. So we're going to come in here and we're going to start building up some of the highlights. I am going to pull out one of my favorite colors for the Vallejo airline, the US light gray. I just love this color. I don't know what it is. It's a really unique gray. And I'm just coming in there, building the highlights up and leaving some of that brown behind. And as you can see, it looks very natural. Like it has a very natural transition. It's subtle, but not too subtle. And it has contrast, but not contrast to the point of being, it's all speckled out and like almost jagged, like some of those airbrush transitions have a habit of doing when you're going too extreme. just going in there, find all the raised areas kind of in the corners, pull that US Army light gray back into the browns. This is, slow it down a little bit, take your time, nurture this effect. Clean the airbrush in between stages, keep it nice and clean. Just using a standard toothbrush. And there you go. You see, we've undone a lot of the brown, but not all of it. It was a good base for this color. We obviously have the beginning of this white now starting to, come out. It's a cream right now, like a champagne even. But next, we're definitely gonna kick it up a notch here. We're gonna pull out Vallejo Air Whites, and we're gonna just start subtly building that white into that US Army light gray. It's hard to see here because I am moving very slow and very subtle, but you can see it popping up now. And this is one of those colors. You definitely don't want to mess around with white. You're gonna want to, every 10 seconds, 20 seconds, pulling it down, spraying it out. You're gonna want to take your toothbrush and just quickly clean the tip of the needle. You don't want to let it go too long because it will disrupt the flow of the white. That's a huge thing when it comes to white. You have to keep that needle clear. It will just be a nightmare otherwise. You just gotta take your time. And I mean, it's getting a nice little subtle. It looks like it's kind of glowing a little bit. It's the right kind of contrast. It's a fun color in my opinion. I think that building whites off of brown bases are really fun. A lot of people like to build them off of blue bases, but to me, that's like the clean blue, the clean white. This is the dirty brown, the dirty white. So definitely could have done this whole thing with the blue base, but it wouldn't match the technical colors I'm going to use on the blade. Now we're moving on to painting some of the trim. Pulling out that same Vallejo Air Black metal. Love that color, like I said before. Pull it out and liberally apply it to all this trim. Just come in, don't overthink it. Use the correct portions of water. Get it kind of a little thinner than you're used to, but not too thin, obviously. Come in, lay it down, very solid. We have a lot of things to do after that, so you don't want to linger on it. You don't want to get all obsessed, but you do want to be tight, clean. Move as fast as you can, but still be precise. You can come back from a couple of splatters. Like if you splatter some of this metal onto the white we just did, that's fine because we are going to come in there with some of the technical colors like the type of corrosions and stuff. So you don't have to be the tightest, you're going to be in this whole process, but you do need to be at least a little methodical. Just, one of the places I've realized I could save time is just a little bit of speed over quality on this stage. We're going to come through, we're going to paint all this trim. We're going to paint all these little hatches, all these little vents, all this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of little details on this thing that you're going to want to just hit them. You want to just be patient, do it, get it done. This is that grind. That's how I want about this all the time. This is where you want to just, this is where you're getting bored. You're getting bored right now. Pull your headphones out, listen to your audiobook, submerge yourself in this technique. Get all these, you see, like here's this little vision panel, I don't know what to call it, like a porthole. Looks like it has a digital display though. I'll come in there and hit that detail up. Don't overthink it, like I can't reiterate that enough. Just get these solid colors painted down. And once you get all that done, I think we can move on to the next stage, which will be to continue using this color we're on and go back and wipe out some of this overspray we did earlier. I cannot say enough good things about this Vallejo Air Black. I use this all the time. There was another color I used to use in the Reaper line called Black and Steel. Very similar color, except it's not airbrush ready. This is airbrush ready and just paints on so smooth. But it has that look of that color I used to love from the Reaper series. Do yourself a favor and just go online and buy a bucket of Vallejo Air colors. They even have the new game colors, which are the same as, their traditional line, but now, designed to run through your airbrush. I have never been disappointed with these guys. Almost exclusively use them now. I used to use a lot of GW paints before, and I just used fewer and fewer of them as I go on. But I tell you, man, you can't go wrong with the technical colors from GW, nor the washes. They're my favorite. You can see we're still working on that detail process here. We're painting the side panels now, painting some of those little ladders, those little handholds for the guys that climb up on the sides of these tanks. It's just a lot of little things you just have to focus on. Stay committed. Keep your hands steady. Now you can see it's all coming together. You can see that trim, you can see the little skulls on the sides, the bolts, everything. We're hitting it all. Long process. Keep your paintbrush clean. Don't use too much of a detail brush, even though you're doing some detail areas. You definitely want to use a little bit of like a notch above a detail brush here, because you don't have to overthink it. You don't have to worry about splattering it. And once you get to that stage here, you can see I even throw some color in those portholes, just so you can see what they're about. Pull out your airbrush again. We're gonna lay some blacks down. We got to do those weird top carapace pieces that this tank comes with. I don't know. I think that they're the housing for I think they come with void shields or something like that. I don't play a lot of this 30K stuff, but I do know that these things are really hard to kill in the rules. Obviously, we're gonna use some grays. Throw some German gray in there, real subtle. I mean, like black, you don't have to overthink it. Paint it black, a subtle gray highlight, call it done. Don't go crazy here. The next stage is gonna be one of my favorite stages, Typhus Corrosion time. We're gonna slather that Typhus Corrosion in all up on these tracks. Coming thick, coming gangster with it. I mean, I'm addicted to this technique here. I order this by the dozen at this point, man. This is like just the best for this type of dirty, grimy treads. I haven't found a technique that I enjoy more than this for doing weathering on treads. Come in, get it in all the little crevices, switch to a smaller brush to get it in the area between the canopy and the treads. Remember, use brushes that you're okay with ruining, because Typhus Corrosion is not good for paintbrushes, but still worth it. I have 2 or 3 Typhus Corrosion paintbrushes I use that are all different sizes. I have one that's really small that I use to speckle in some of those effects. This is probably my medium-sized Typhus brush. So as you can see here, it's a liberal base coat. We're gonna let that dry. In the meantime, though, we're gonna start slathering some washes in on some of the metals that we did. I'm just using a little non-oil mixed with a little Earthshade, GW line. They're still my favorite washes. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna wash all the metal details that we laid down. Nice, slow, get them in the cracks. Don't spill it out. It's important to do this very methodically. Once you're done with this, that'll be it for this video. We're gonna let everything dry, and then the next stage will be very interesting, very technical, and I have a lot more to talk about on this tank. All right, guys, thanks for checking out that video. Don't forget to check out the Long War. We've got a new battle report up there right now. Also, don't forget to check out Spiky Bits. Rob's been dropping a lot of new tutorials. We're interacting in a new way. We got some new stuff fresh on the horizon, so just check up on the Facebook pages, check us on the Twitters, and check us up on the YouTube right here for daily updates. In the meantime, thanks for watching, players. Yo, dog, thanks for checking out my channel. And don't forget, I've got plenty of other tutorials, tips and tactics, and many more. Also, if you get a chance, check out my best friend Robbie B's channel, Spiky Bits. He's got tons of sick videos dropping. Thanks for watching.